Welcome to Wild Drama Stories. Let's get started. Story number 1. Opie writes, I am female 20 and my boyfriend is male 20. We've known each other since we were kids in middle school and we were always close, but I never wanted a relationship to ruin our friendship, so I turned him down for a long time, until last year when I decided I'd risk it. Our relationship has been wonderful. He's always been very kind to me, brings me flowers randomly. I'll buy him gifts out of the blue when I see something he needs or would like. We have been very open with communication, and I thought we were open books with each other. He's helped me learn more about adulthood and finances than my parents were able to, and I have saved more money than ever before, because I used to have a bad spending habit that I almost have gotten over. We've been living together for the last 6 months, and I do 80% of the cleaning. We both work full-time jobs, but spend most of our free time together. We stopped having sex almost 4 months ago, and he said it was just stress, and so I didn't pressure him into anything. But the other night, I found out why he actually doesn't want to sleep with me. The day everything happened, it was a weekend, and we both had the day off. He went to hang out with a friend for a few hours. I went to my mom's to pick her up and get some coffee and run to the store, and then I dropped her off at home without going inside, like I usually do, because I wanted to get home and clean up. After a while, my boyfriend came home, and we hung out for a while before going to my aunt's to help my mom fix my cousin's, female 19, P, car, but she wasn't able to. So I asked P if she wanted to go out to eat with me and my boyfriend, and she agreed. We got there and get the food, and P brings up my ex, D, and said he was at my mom's today because he had posted on social media that he was with my 2 dogs. I said I didn't know he was there, and I brought up that I had asked other family to not talk to him a long time ago, but they told me to shut up and leave things be. So I did, because I never saw him and I never cared to. My boyfriend wouldn't let me touch him and immediately went to the bathroom. So I got the tab and some boxes. We brought P home and we went home. He went to the spare room and wouldn't talk to me. At first I thought he was upset because my family talked to D still, but after a few hours he came into our room and asked me, So, how long has it been going on? And I asked him what he was talking about, and he thinks I've been cheating on him. He screamed at me for the next hour and was upset. I kept saying the same things over and over because I didn't have anything else to say. I told him I've never cheated or wanted to cheat on him. I haven't seen my ex or talked to him, and I definitely haven't had sex with him. He said many hurtful things in the heat of the moment, and I've tried to brush them off, but I can't. He believes I've been cheating on him since February, and that's why he stopped having sex with me. I don't know why he thinks this. I am with him 90% of the time. He said I probably steal his money and give it to my ex. He said I have 6 boyfriends somewhere. I have no idea where he got that number, or if he was just trying to say I'm easy. He said I come from a family of losers who are never going to do anything with their lives, and all trust is completely gone, even though I've never done anything to him to damage his trust in me before. After hearing all the hurtful things he had to say, I tried to go to bed, but ended up staying awake all night feeling sick. He left the next morning for work, and I stayed in bed until I had to work. When I got home, I showered, and he went to pick up a friend and came back. I sat in our room most of the day while drinking. He brought his friend home and came back and started arguing again, saying I don't care about him. I haven't talked to him all day, and randomly saying other things to hurt me. He said my mom's never been a parent, and that's why she always had someone else raise me. And I started crying, telling him to stop, but he wouldn't, so I just emotionally shut down and sat on my balcony. When I went back in, he was upset because he thought I'd left. I went to bed, and when I woke up, he was gone again. I really don't know what to do. But even if we get past this, I don't know if I can forgive him for all the hurtful things he said. I really don't know what to do. Any advice is greatly appreciated. Update. Firstly, I'd like to say thank you to everyone who took the time to read my last post and comment on it. I greatly appreciate it. It's been a crazy last few days, if I'm being honest, but I'll start where I left off last time. I worked 5 to close that night and let my co-workers in about my situation, and I let them see my Reddit post and see their thoughts, and they were quite similar to the main comments. They believe he was cheating on me and the relationship would just get worse. And I agreed that things wouldn't be the same if I were to stay with him. When I got home, I took a long shower to try and calm myself. When I got out, he asked to talk to me in the kitchen. He said I didn't look happy, and I asked if I should be happy in this situation, and he said no. We went and laid down, and I turned away from him, and he told me to face him, and I did. He was upset I wasn't touching him, when the 2 previous nights he has specifically told me not to, which I said to him. He told me sometimes people say things in the heat of the moment that they don't really mean, and I asked how was I supposed to know what he meant and what he didn't. He didn't really have a reply. He told me to turn around and he cuddled me. He tried to have sex, but I declined and he turned away. I fell asleep. The next morning he woke me up when he left for work to say bye and kissed my forehead. I went to work and got off early and went home again and showered. I got the silent treatment pretty much until today, 2 days later. I woke up this morning and read through the rest of my book because I didn't want to get out of bed. I was weak because I've only eaten 3 little things since the day everything happened. I told him I was going to Walmart with my mom, and if he needed anything, I could grab it. He told me if he needs anything, he can get it himself. Before I left, he said to have my mom come to the apartment so he could talk to her. I've told my mom everything that's going on, and I explained that I was certain after they had a talk, I would have to leave. I procrastinated going home for as long as possible. I was shaking, and I felt like throwing up when I walked inside. My mother and stepbrother came with me, knowing I would be leaving with them. He came out of his spare room and said hi to us. My mom told him she and my stepbrother were there to help me move home with her, and he said okay. Then he went off about how my mom is a bad mother for letting my ex go around the house. He said he wasn't sure everything I had told them. I tell my mom everything, but he was telling my mom that he has always been good to me and has always asked how I am feeling, but I don't communicate to him. I began grabbing bags and packing my clothes. He followed me to the room and said, "Is this it?" I said yes, and he asked me why. I told him that all the things he had said to me were unacceptable. He had the nerve to ask if he was wrong about any of them. He was wrong about every single thing he had said, but still didn't believe it. He still kept saying there was no trust, and I told him it didn't matter since we weren't together anymore. My grandma and uncle came along to help pack my things, and my grandma and ex began arguing over something, and he started doing low blows about how she borrows money and lives off of Social Security and other things. She had disabilities, so she's unable to work. Him and my uncle began arguing, and it almost turned into a physical altercation, so we left, and I texted him that I would be back in an hour with a police escort to keep things civil. I went to get a U-Haul for my large items, like my couch and bed, that were personally mine. Thankfully, he wasn't there this time, and I was able to get everything out within a few hours, with help from a family friend, my mom and grandmother. I said goodbye to both of the cats we had together. I felt bad leaving my cat, but I know my ex would take good care of him. I feel sad and hurt, but I know with time things will be better. It is more important to keep myself happy, rather than maintain an unhappy relationship. Thank you in advance to anyone who took the time to read through my posts and give me advice. I appreciate each and every one of you. Well, OP, you said that the two of you had been friends for a long time and you decided to give him a chance. Well, things just didn't work out. This is not the person for you. And you're very smart to leave rather than continue in a relationship that doesn't make you happy. And it's good to leave after a year rather than sticking it out for 5 years or whatnot, and it still doesn't work out when it's already obvious right now that it's not going to work out. And I understand that you cannot unhear the things that he said about you and your family. So it didn't feel good anymore to be around him, knowing how he feels about all of you. As for your family, the fact that so many family members came out to help you pack your things and leave that situation, that does say a lot about your family. You needed them and they were all there to support you. And maybe that is something that your ex didn't like, that you have these people who have your back. But good luck to you, OP. Story number 2. Opie writes, Okay, so I, 25 male, am a wedding planner. So when my sister, 32 female, announced she was getting married, most of our family, her included, assumed I'd help plan it for her. I initially didn't really want to, as her wedding is right in the middle of busy season, so I'd miss out on gigs that would pay. But then I decided that she's my sister, and this would be a good wedding gift, and would just help with the wedding stress. She was so happy when I agreed, and we started going over her plans and themes. I found some venues and we went to look at them. I took care of all the catering, so all she had to do was taste test and pick. I was also able to use my connections to get her special deals and stuff like that. At first it was pretty smooth, but as time went on it just got more and more stressful. She wouldn't communicate with anyone and almost got a photographer to quit. I had to convince him to stay. She'd constantly change her mind on things and then get mad they were changed, as I should have known she was just being indecisive and that I should have stuck with the first option. While I was setting up the registry, she told me I could have first tips on what gift I was getting her. I looked at her confused and said that my help planning was my gift. She said that a lot of family helped out and they are still getting gifts. I told her that other family members helped move furniture or lent me their car to pick up supplies. I was doing most of the work and was missing out on actually getting paid helping her. She said she's grateful for my help, but that this wouldn't really constitute a gift unless I was paying for things like her dress or the venue. And she said it didn't matter when I brought up that my connections have literally saved her thousands when you add them up. She's now calling me cheap and is getting our family involved. I don't know what she told them. They won't tell me. But they keep saying how selfish I am to make my sister's big day all about me. If I could afford it, I wouldn't mind getting her something. But the cheapest thing in the registry is almost $200 and I'm not well off. Plus, with my loss of income, I can't afford something like that right now. I want to support her, but I don't think I'm going to get her a gift. Would I be the a-hole if I didn't? Here's Opie's update. I took some of your advice, but I didn't go as extreme as I think some of you were hoping I would. Sorry, but I can be a people pleaser, and I don't want to ruin what is supposed to be a happy moment in her life. I put together a list of everything I had done, including all the discounts I had gotten her. I'm not sure if she knew they were discounts, as I didn't say they were discounts. I would say things like, I have been able to get you a quote of X amount from Y for Z, as well as stating what I would normally charge for a wedding this size. I then texted her to ask if we could get some lunch and talk. When she arrived, I showed her the list and explained that I'm not asking her to pay this, but I wanted her to see how much I'm helping her and how much money I'm losing by doing her wedding instead of taking on a client who would pay. At first, she was shocked at the amount and accused me of lying to try and make her feel bad. I was able to show her bills from other weddings I had done before, and a quick Google search showed that my prices are pretty average. She had never looked up any wedding planner or their rates because she assumed I was always going to do it. She said she thought it wasn't that much, as I didn't seem to be well off. I told her that while it does pay well, I can't take on crazy amounts of clients since I need to give quality service and that I might not always get clients all year. Plus I have a few medical expenses that can take out a large chunk. She said I still must have some money saved up. I said I do, but that I would be having to use it to cover my bills and stuff, since my income is taking a hit due to taking on her wedding. After a while of insisting that some of the items on her registry aren't that expensive, she relented. I wouldn't have to get her anything, since I had gotten her enough discounts to qualify as a gift, and that she was grateful for my help and services. Honestly, I didn't know how much this was stressing me out until that relief washed over me. I was thankful that this was over and we could continue with planning her wedding. I asked her to clear things up with our family as they won't talk to me about it. She agreed and sent a group text explaining that the gift incident was just a misunderstanding and that we had talked it out and cleared things up. For those that are saying that a registry seems very expensive, her new husband, his family, friends, and a lot of her friends are very wealthy, and she makes sure our parents and other close family are taken care of. So she kind of has become disconnected from people with normal financial status like me. There are a lot of things on the list, like designer handbags, clothes, shopping sprees, dinners, and even a car and a second home on there. The cheaper items are some simple jewelry she liked. She paid for my part of the lunch as an apology, and since I'm struggling, and things are all good now, I think. Thanks, everyone. Wow, Opie, so there's not only a car on the registry, but even a second home, a second house? Well, I think that got all of us sitting up straight going like, what? Really? A car and a second house? Okay, well, Opie, it sounds like maybe your sister is a little spoiled, but I'm glad everything has been worked out between the two of you, and I hope you get a lot of good job opportunities planning other weddings as a result of this one, because I kind of get the feeling this one is going to be very expensive. But I'm wondering why your sister even needs all these discounts, just looking at her registry. Story number 3. Opie writes, Hello, I'm getting married in the next few weeks, and we'll be going on a honeymoon for like 6 days to a nice resort. Surprisingly, 2 of her friends are going to the same resort to, quote, hang out with us, unquote. Those were my fiancé's words. I told my fiancé I wasn't happy with that, and I thought it was a bit inconsiderate on their end. I feel like we should be spending all the time we can alone and not with other people around. We've been planning this moment for almost a year, and why now her friends want to go? Maybe my fiancé told them, who knows? I'm at the place where I don't want to mention that again, since I already told her why it's not a good idea. I wonder if any of you experienced that before. Update. My fiancé had a conversation with the friends and asked them to change location. It's a relief, but I still have to have more conversations with my future wife about this. It should not happen again. Well, Opie, that is highly unusual for somebody to invite friends along on their honeymoon. I'm sure that there's some people that do that, but then it's because both parties are on board with that and they want it. But it's very odd that she invited friends along to hang out on her honeymoon with her. But you know what, Opie, you talked to her about it and she spoke to her friends and they're not going to come anymore. So that's a good thing. It's been resolved at least, because I'm telling you, with these stories, it wouldn't surprise me to find one where the person is saying, my friends are coming with on the honeymoon, or there's no wedding. Stranger things have happened when it comes to these stories. Well, that's it for now. Thank you so much for joining me and for listening to these stories. I hope you enjoyed them. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing because it really helps me out a lot. Leave me a comment and we'll see each other again very soon. Bye.